The question is, what do you understand by the term social security? Critically analyze the role of poverty alleviation programs and policies in solving rural distress in India. So whenever you get a question where the definition of any term or the meaning of any term is asked, you have to explain first what is the meaning of the term, then also its components. Components means like its impact on the society. Like these government programs are mainly for reforming our society. So in this question, the first part is, what do you understand by the term social security? So you will define social security first. What is the meaning of the term? Then how it works in Indian society. So various we have multiple definitions of this term social security. So like we have social security code which defines this term, but the most inclusive definition of this term was given by International Labour Organization. So ILO says that social security is a human right. So ILO relates this idea of social security with human rights. So it's the right of every individual. It's related to human dignity. That's why it's a human right. Social security is a human right which responds to the universal need for protection against certain life risks and social needs. So what can be the example of this thing? Like pension. Pension is a social security scheme. So pension given to individuals help them in the case of needs arising in their elderly period, or when they are retired from the job, or when they are 60 plus. So that's an example of social security. Then social security can also be seen in the case of health, in the case of education. So all the welfare programs related to these things will be part of social security. Same, the question talks about poverty alleviation. So it's also a part of social security. So effective social security system guarantee income security and health protection. So first thing is there should be some kind of income security to everyone because our economy is monetized. So everyone needs some kind of monetary support. Monetary support, also support for food grains and support for connectivity. So all these things are related to the idea of social security. So it leads to reduction of poverty, prevention and reduction of poverty and inequality, and the promotion of social inclusion and human dignity. So this is the most inclusive definition of social security. You can use it in paper 1, paper 2, anywhere, or even in the ethics paper you can use this idea. So what is social security? How social security programs are implemented, or what is the basis behind social security program? So like there are 4 or 5 features about social security, like provision of benefits in cash or kind. So if food grains are given, it's benefit social security given in kind, and when it's given as cash direct benefit transfer, so that's also a part of social security. Then it's also an important, so economic survey says this point, it's an important investment in the well-being of workers and the community as a whole. So basically if social security programs provisions are given to laborers, so their health will be better. So it will create opportunities for growth also. So like skill development among laborers, so that's also part of social security. Nutrition and essential goods and services. Then it improves productivity and employability because labor is more healthy. Then for employers and enterprises, it also helps to maintain a stable workforce. So this is also one of the idea behind social security. Building social peace, there will be less conflict because there will be less inequality. There will be less absolute poverty in the society. So there will be less conflict and society will be inclusive. So now you have to relate this idea of social security with poverty alleviation programs. So there are various poverty alleviation programs. Like MG Narega is one of the examples of poverty alleviation programs. So MG Narega gives the right to work. Same with Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. It connects different settlements or different habitations in India. So connectivity is also a part of poverty alleviation. Then Ajivika is also a part of poverty alleviation programs. So since you have to critically analyze, so first you will write about these programs and how these programs are trying to give social security. Like MGNREGA gives right to work, meaning it is giving them income. So write about all these things, National Food for Work program. So supplementary wage employment. So it will supplement the wage employment. Then rural connectivity, we have Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. To develop wasteland, degraded land or for drought prone area, we have multiple programs. So write about all these things because all these things help in tackling rural distress in India. And why there is rural distress? Because there is unemployment, there is less literacy, low connectivity. So these are examples of rural distress. Poverty, it's also a form of rural distress. Then if caste norms are also adhered to in societies, that's also an example of rural distress. So write about all these things. But somehow these social security programs have not been very successful in India. So it has been successful, not very much successful. So what are the reasons for the successes and failures of poverty alleviation programs? So like if you see the human development indicator in Kerala, so it's very high as compared to Jharkhand or Bihar. So policy makers say that we should have other ideas also included with these programs so that poverty can be alleviated from Indian society. So what are these other ideas? So like access to land. So like in Kerala had a very successful land reform policy. So access to land will tackle their subsistence needs and the poverty alleviation programs will help them to get additional income. So it can also be done. Then agrarian reforms, our agricultural productivity is very low. So agrarian reform will also help because a large part of our workforce is working in agricultural sector. So it will be also should be a part of reform with poverty alleviation programs. Then improved health and education facility. So if there is better health and educational facility, so people will have less out of the pocket expenditure. So this will also help in tackling poverty and rural distress in India. Then social reform related to caste and gender. So write about all these dimensions, relate the idea of social security with poverty alleviation programs. Okay. So that will be your answer because it's a 15 marker. So you have to write in 250 words. So it will cover all the dimensions. First you have defined the term, its component, then examples of poverty alleviation program and their relation to rural distress, and then what should be done what should be the supplementary steps that should be taken to alleviate poverty from India. It will complete your answer. So that's all for this question. Thank you.